I'm going to decorate this Bible with you today. This is just a small Bible. I bought a number of them at a really nice store that I go to. And I'm going to cover the Bible, just the outside cover, and then I'm going to use this. This is a resin piece that I'm going to use. I poured with the quick dry resin. So first thing I'm going to do is paint this resin piece. And I'm going to paint it with some white paint. Just paint it all over with white. Okay. Get it done. This will just kind of seal in gives a seal to the piece, so then when I paint it, it'll go on a whole lot better. Okay. Put one coat of white all over the whole thing. And I'm just going to lay this aside to dry. Lay it right over here to the side, and I'm going to let it dry. Now I'm going to go to my Mod Podge. I use Mod Podge here, and I've got it in a little cup, and I'm going to use some white, just some white tissue paper. Okay, so I'm going to take this tissue paper and just wad it up. I want it to wrinkle, so I'm just going to wad it up real good, and then pull it back out. Then I'm going to start. I'm just going to tear me off a piece of it. And I'm not going to smooth it out much. I want it to be wrinkled on there, so for the wrinkles to show. So I'm just going to kind of rough it up a little bit, wrinkle it up a little more. Put a little bit of the glue on the top of my book. Don't want to get it on the inside pages, so I'm just doing the outside. Makes a really nice gift for somebody, or a table, for their table decoration. Now I'm going to take my paper that's wrinkled up, real crinkly, and I'm just going to lay it on that book with the wrinkles. You see the wrinkles on there? Just going to press it till it lets the wrinkles show on there. Be sure that the whole top is covered. Okay. Just kind of press it down with my fingers. Now I'm going to go a little bit farther down with this piece till I get this piece on. This is a real quick project. Get this piece on, and I'm going to just wrinkle it up a little bit more up there. Set on. You can do the wrinkles as few as you like, or as many as you like. That's solely up to you. Try not to get but one layer of paper, though. I just want one layer of paper on there. Okay, got one more little piece here. Push it in there and put a few wrinkles in that one. Bring it right on down, and then I'll have to tear me off another small piece for this other corner over here. I'm going to take a little piece like this, put it on this side. That one's not quite big enough. Let's get another one, so I don't have to put more than one on there. Okay. Go right back in, a little of my glue, lay my paper down, sprinkle it up some. This one should cover the whole thing. Okay. Now I'm just going to take my glue and go right back over the top of it. Kind of work it till it lays down good. Takes quite a bit of the Mod Podge to get this to lay down good. Then we'll have to dry it. If you hear a noise, that's my heater in my shop. When I get this on and dry, I'm going to paint it a color, so it won't matter that the words are still showing through there on the front. But I do need to get a good amount of glue on there to get it to lay down good. Might have got that one a little thick, but it'll work just the same. Okay. Kind of go with the way your paper's laying. Let your brush work it right down in the way the paper's laying there till you think it's laid down good. And now I'm getting a little too wet there, so I'm going to have to quit on that. I'm going to have to put one little piece in there. I don't want that black to show through. Okay, now I'm going to dry that. I'm going to use my dryer, and I'm going to dry that top. So I can go right on around to the other side to to work on the other side. Now I'm going to take my little gator sander and I'm going to sand this off the edges here. Take it right off the edges. I should have put a clean piece of paper on that one. I'm going to cover over the binding, so I'm not going to sand that off. I'm just going to let that lap over. So I'm going to cover that. Now I've got that side covered and it's pretty well dry. Okay. Now I'm going to set it up on the edge. Put my next piece is going to go right here. Cross this end. Two little pieces here, so we'll go with that. Put me some glue on this end. And lay my paper down there. And wrinkle it up just a little. Push it right in there. I'm going to let the top one overlap that one just a little bit. Put another little piece down to the bottom. You can do it in smaller pieces if you like. Just take you a little longer. But you can do it every which way you choose, whichever's easiest for you. Okay, now I'm going to lay it down on that side and come right on over to the other one. Doing the same thing on this side, just push in the wrinkles a little bit till you get as many as you like. Off over here and put it up to the top. You could do this with mulberry paper too. You've seen me use in the other videos. You've watched them. You've seen me use mulberry paper. You could use mulberry paper on this one also. A little spot right there on the corner. And we'll put this one right up here in this corner. Just make a super gift for somebody. And something you could do quick. You could do it in a couple hours and have it ready to gift. Pull that one out of there a little bit. Got one more little piece there. Needs to get covered. And I didn't pull off enough. Okay, I'm back to gluing again. Drying. Okay, I believe I got it enough to get that off. Now I'll go back in again and take off the edges. I've got just a couple of little tiny spots there that I'm going to have to glue down. Put a little on and glue them. Put a little bit of glue there, a little bit of paper. I'm going to paint it a dark like a gold, so if you have a spot or two that don't get covered, it's no big deal. It will still be all right because you're going to paint the whole thing. Okay. Now let's try that one real quick. Now I'm ready to put my piece on, and you want to make sure that you got your Bible turned in the right direction, that you're on the front here. If you happen to cover up your words, just be sure you look inside and make sure you've got the front of the book before you go on with it, okay? Now I'm going to take the resin piece that I made and I'm going to glue it onto the front of my book. So this is the 10-minute resin. It takes about 10 minutes to pour a piece and let it dry, and then you're ready to use it. And I'm going to put it on here with some, I think I'm going to use this glue. There's a lot of different glues. This one's called Gem Tack. You can use a lot of different glues. So I'm just going to put this all over the back of my piece here as soon as I can get it to squirt out. Okay, there we come. It's hard to get it out of the bottle. You want enough glue to make sure you get it glued down good, so put a little bit all over your piece. And you could choose whatever you choose to put in there. Sometimes I've done them and put a cross on the front of them. Now I've got the glue about it completely over that. And I'm going to take my finger and smooth it out a little bit. Now I'm going to position it on here and just glue it down. Okay. Now I want that to dry. Now while that's drying, I'm going to mix my paint over here. I want it to be in the shades of gold, and I'm going to use, I want it to be in the metallic colors. but I don't just use plain gold metallic. I want to mix that gold. I'm going to use Emperor's Gold here. I think I've got my palette enough to where you can see what I'm doing. I've got some Deco Arts metallics, and this one is called Emperor's Gold. I'm going to put some of this on my palette here to mix up. So I'm going to use this, and I'm going to mix some black in it. So I'm going to get a metallic, a gold, but the metallics are so transparent when you use them by themselves. So you either have to coat your piece with black, or you can just put the black in the paint. When you do that, always start with your lightest color and then add to it. Okay, so I've got some black out there and some of the metallic, and I'm going to take my palette knife and just mix that over into my metallics. And I got a big old piece there that I don't need. I'm going to mix the two of these until I get a color that I like. So it's just your choice. When you get it to the point that it's something that you like, then that's when you put it on there. And I'm trying to mix the first. We'll probably may have to use two coats. So if you put the second coat on, you're mixing it. If you do it the same time you're, painting it today and have to match the colors, you can pretty well match them. But if you wait till tomorrow, put a coat on, and then go back, it's almost impossible to do. And I don't think it's going to be enough to cover it since it's got the texture to it. So I'm just going to go ahead and mix me a little bit more. Oh, now that was the wrong one I picked up, and it was too juicy. So I'm going to swing that up there and get it out of there a little bit. Hadn't shook that one up. I picked up the wrong gold. So let's go back and try this again. Okay, which is no big deal. Just makes a mess on my palette, all it does. I'm going to put me a little more black in that. It's kind of leaning toward a shade of green, but you can see the gold in it. Okay, I think I'm about ready to start painting on it. Okay, I'm going to get me a brush over here. I need to brush that one. Okay, let's see if this is glued down. I think it's glued on there enough to get it on. So we're going to paint the whole thing with this gold. Now you don't want to get it down here on your pages, and if you're afraid of doing that, lift up your page and lay you a piece of paper in there. Just like we would take a piece of paper like this and lay it inside your book like so. And then if you're painting the top of your book, you will not get that on your inside, because you don't want to paint the inside of you don't want to get that on your inside pages of your book. Work it right around that piece that I put on there. Just use a good brush and get all down in the little crooks and crannies of the piece. Takes quite a bit of paint to get down in all those little spots. Move your piece around, because the white spots you will be able to see real plain. So just move your piece around and around till you get all those little spots, those little places down in their cupboard. If you're doing this at home, you really should let that piece on the top dry a little bit more, dry down there a little bit more. But because of the interest of time, I went ahead and painted over it. But normally I would let it dry for, an hour or so before I went in and put the paint on there. Now I'm going to work my way right on around. I can get the front and the side, and then I'll have to dry it before I go over to the back. See how pretty that is with the wrinkles in it? Just kind of sets it off. Makes a whole different look. Okay. Now let's go right up this side. Now I need to dry this side before I go on over to the back. Okay, I'm going to lay my brush down, go back to my dryer. That color really well. See how pretty the color is? See that? Now I'm going to reverse it, take my paper out. I see a couple of little tiny spots on there. I'm going to go ahead and dab those in. A couple of little spots of the white. Guess it'd help if I put my glasses on. I'd be able to see them better. Okay. Now I'm going to flip it over and I'm going to put my paper that I was using in the other side so I don't get paint on the thing. Okay, now I'm come in here. This side will go real quick because I don't have any embellishments on it. I do this to any book. It doesn't have to be a Bible, you could take any book and use the same background and put any kind of embellishments you want on it. You could paint it any color you want. Use a frame and put you a picture on the front of the book, or so many different ways that you can use the papers like this. I've also used this tissue paper on tissue boxes, Kleenex boxes, wooden ones. You take those are done pretty covered with this and decorated. I think I've just about got it, and I guess that paint just about right. Got just about the right amount. Okay, I'm going to dry this one. What we got here. Get rid of the paper, flip it back over. That looks really good. I see a couple of little spots there. Just a little tiny one right there and right there. Okay. Now I'm going to make sure this one's good and dry. Then we're going to use some waxes on it. Now I've got some gold rubbing buff. It's what I'm going to use to bring it up another level. I'm going to put some rubbing buff on that piece we've got in the middle on that floor. Okay, and I'm just using a soft rag, an old t-shirt's what I like to use. Hope I don't mess up my back there if I've got it dry enough. Okay, I'm going to put a little bit of rubbing buff right on the edge of my palette here. Just kind of pull it down a little bit with a little bit of that rubbing buff there. And this one is antique gold. Okay. Come in with my finger, put a little gold on it, and I'm going to go right here and work on this floor a little bit. And I'm just going to put the gold, set the gold right down on there. See how it's just bringing that gold up? See how you can see the difference in the color? What I've put on this side and what I've put on this other side there. So you can see as I put that on there, how that pulls that right out. When this one's all said and done, I'll spray it with a clear acrylic spray. I'll wait till tomorrow till I know that all that glue under that paper's dry. And then I use Rust-Oleum's 2-in-1, and I use it either in the gloss or the satin. So if you want it to shine, you use the gloss. If you don't want it to shine, then you use the satin. You can also go right back in here with the bling and the beads, and you can work on this little floor and put all kinds of beads and stuff around it and decorate all these little spots. See, that is really pretty. That gold just pulls that out of there. Just brings it forward. It makes it more dimensional. See, the gold is just pulling the floor right out away from the book. Makes it a whole lot more dimensional. You can put some other colors in there if you want to. Any of the waxes you could use in there. Take a little piece there to sand off. I'll clean up those edges. Now I'm going to put a little bit right here on my book, just a few spots. Right up here, and take it up and down on my paper. Just to kind of carry that around into the book a little bit. I'm just kind of hitting the high spots. I'm not rubbing it very hard. I'm just kind of hitting the high spots on that paper. Okay. Oh gosh, that's pretty. Look at that. See? Now I'm going to go around this side and do the same thing on the side. On the binding here. Go right around that with a little bit of the gold. And right on to the back. Just rub it lightly and you'll just hit the high spots of the paper that you have on there. And you do as much or as little. You do it to suit you. Whatever you like, that's what you do. You could use a different color metallic on this. I've made them with the blue. Take the blue and mix like a ocean blue or something, and mix that with the black and make a shade of blue. And then, but look how pretty that is. Gosh, that is pretty. Okay, so then, and we've kept the inside. So we've got the inside. It's kept clean. It had a little bit of stains on it. It had that when I bought them. I bought them at a thrift store. Okay, so we go around. And we're finished. That's what we got for the day. Hope you'll follow along and watch some of our other videos, and be sure and subscribe. Hope to see you real soon. Just message me if you have any questions.